Hey, it's Mike Draper with AWC TV. We have a very special guest today, the IWCA president, Butch Chapman. Butch, thanks for being on with us today. We really appreciate it and taking some time and telling us your story.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So, hey, you live out in Philadelphia, and were you born and raised in Philly?
I was actually born in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
I moved to Philadelphia when I was about 10 years old.
Okay, so well, for a lot of your life, then Philly's home, right? And you work for a company out there, Jenkintown Building Services, a very large high-rise company out there. Do a lot of the buildings downtown. I've been with you out there and toured some of the buildings and some of the facilities that you guys cover. But a very large company. How many guys do you manage, Butch?
In the prime season, we get up to about 75 to 80 employees.
Okay, so 75, 80 employees. That's there's not a lot of companies out there that manage that type of thing, but all facets of the business too, right? So you're doing facade work, you're doing window cleaning, just everything that encompasses that outside building envelope you guys handle.
Yep, everything for building services, from pressure washing. We do residential, route work, high-rise work, BMU work, pretty much everything.
Yeah, very nice. How long have you been at Jenkintown, Butch?
20 years.
20 years. So you must have started when you were 10.
Exactly. As soon as I got to Philly.
Right. Got to Philly, went to work for Jenkintown. Okay.
Right.
All right, good. So 20 years you've been at Jenkintown. Now something that's kind of interesting that many of our viewers may not know is you're not the owner of Jenkintown.
Correct.
So that the owner of Jenkintown is Marty Tuzman.
Marty Tuzman, yes.
Yes, and so you have been with the company, and I know Marty very well. He's one of my favorite people. But at any rate, you have been what I just call a right-hand man for Marty for a lot of years. And that's something unique in our business, I think. You don't see that. Most people think, oh, I've got to be the owner, or I've got to have my own thing. How did you find contentment working for Marty all these years? Because I know you're a very talented guy in and of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, pretty much, he takes care of me. He takes good care of me, and we've been able to, build a big company together. And when I got here, Marty was pretty much in the suburbs and doing residential and route work, and I had a lot of experience at that time, about 15 years doing high rise. So I started a division here with Marty, with me and 4 guys started a high rise division, which turned into the company that we have today.
How cool is that? So you mentioned something because you hear the problems in the industry of being employee retention. How do you keep these guys happy? How do you even get a guy like yourself or whatever that would stick around and be a right hand man? But you said, Marty took care of me. I don't want to get into salaries or anything like that, but just what is it? Because I know everybody's going to be really wondering this. What is it that when you say he took care of me, what are some of the things that he did that just make you say, you know what, I'm staying here. I like this and I like what I'm doing here?
Well, I think it's trust, too, and the perfect relationship. I think, Marty is really, really good in sales. And building a company and, and the structure behind to run the company. And I was good in the window cleaning knowledge and good with, window cleaners and understanding, what they're about and how to manage window cleaners, train window cleaners, develop window cleaners, into moving them up. And I just think that the relationship together, we were good at what we both did in order to build that company together. And, Marty pretty much gave me the keys, to the car, so to speak, because when I started division down in Center City, he entrusted me to run that division and build that division, and knowing that I was going to do things right, do things by the book, and I just think that the relationship just worked really well, and I trusted him, he trusted me, he took care of me, and I took care of his business, and we've grown something special here.
Yeah, you really have, and I've seen you guys interact, and I just think I just admire it. Actually, I admire the relationship that you two have, and I also another thing that I really admire about you is I've seen you interact with your guys, and you know, a lot of I think a lot of guys struggle with this. You have a certain camaraderie with your guys, but yet they also respect you, and they know that you're boss, right? They know that you're the lead. How do you balance all that out? How do you keep that in your mind so that it's working properly, so you get the respect, but you also get the friendship as well?
Well, I think, you know, I look at managing employees almost like being a coach, and even in some ways parenting, you know, as well, in terms of, you know, making the men better, helping them, teaching them. And I think, you know, it also makes it a little easier when they know you've done the work before. So, you know, there's not much that they can tell you, you know, that I can't do this, I can't do that, because, you know, they know you've done it. So, you know, that's a big help. And I think that, you know, being with them and being as part of the team and helping them to be better in every facet, almost like being a life coach in some ways, you know, because window cleaners might have issues, you know, you bring them in, you listen to them. I think it's important to make sure that you listen to, you know, what they're suggesting or what they're telling you that's going on out there. I think you know, you can help them from anything from, you know, marriage counseling to, you know, financing to, you know, just about anything that you can do, you know, to help them. I think it's important to build relationships with them and to build trust with them. And it works for me. And you know, I like hanging out with them. I don't, you know, I like to say, please, you know, can you please get me this? You know, treat them with respect. They treat you with respect. And I think that, you know, when you do have to, you know, be stern, or you do have to discipline them, or, you know, you do have to, you know, kind of get on them a little bit, they expect it and they respect you, and they know they, you know, they did something wrong and they deserve it.
Yeah, I think a word that you use there that's really cool is coach. So a coach is in a similar thing, right? He's got so many players that he's got to get out on the field, and he needs them to perform for him. So he can't just be a total jerk because he needs them to perform. They have to want to perform for him. Yeah, and that's kind of a key ingredient sometimes that I think is missing when we start talking about employee owner type relationships. Is you've got to create an environment that they want to play for you. And
absolutely. I mean, you know, when you think about it, they're dealing with cold temperatures, you know, 20 degrees, 25, 30-degree temperatures. In the summer, it's really hot. You know, I mean, for them to go out there and go the extra yard for you, you know, and work hard for you, it's a really tough job. So, you know, it's a matter of respecting them and them respecting you. And I think if you give respect, you get respect in return.
Yeah, no, very nice. I've always thought that relationship there at Jenkintown was really cool, and you guys run an awesome company out there. Let's shift just a little bit to you. You are the IWCA President, International Window Cleaning Association President this year. You're kind of the lame duck, right? You're going to get replaced here in a month or so. But talk to me about, first of all, how long have you spent on the board of directors before your presidency?
3 years.
3 years. So you were on the board 3 years, and then you kind of rose up through and became the IWCA president.
Yeah.
Now, for you guys that don't know this at home, it's a volunteer board, right? So they're not getting paid. They spend a tremendous amount of time for the industry and doing things. So we really commend you for that, Butch. And then the presidency this last year, what are some things that the IWCA has accomplished during your presidency that you're pretty proud of?
Well, you know, I was only president for a couple weeks, and I got to actually go to Washington February 14th and sign the OSHA Alliance, the renewal of the Alliance, and that was a real honor. That was really cool.
Yeah, that was cool. And the OSHA Alliance, a lot of people don't know what that is. What exactly? Talk to us about it. What is it exactly?
Well, I think it's, you know, the IWCA and OSHA work together to help bring awareness to safety awareness to our window cleaners. They work on, specific products like the window cleaning field guide, that they put out there for window cleaners to have at their fingertips on their cell phones or wherever they may be out in the field. And it kind of gives the industry a voice in helping building, additional products to, to bring, safety, to the window cleaners, as well as working on, the guidelines and the new rules and regulations that, that come out.
Yeah, very nice. So, and it's not easy to get. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they don't even do it anymore, right? They're not issuing new alliances.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure about, if they're issuing new alliances, but I will say it is hard to get.
Yes. And do you even know how many other industries are even represented by an OSHA alliance?
No, I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head how many, are out there that have it. It's not a lot, but I will say that it was on hold for a little bit with the past administrations, with the presidents in our last administration. And with our new president, he actually brought this back in, and we were able to renew our alliance.
Yeah, that's great. So, yeah, that happened 2 weeks into your presidency. So talk to us about any of the other stuff that's happened this year that you're excited about.
We got our new website this year, and that was really exciting. Of course, the old one was a little bit, difficult navigating, and, we had all these new online safety trainings that we had on our old website, and we actually got that up and running this year, and I think that really helped the association to get that up.
Yeah, it did, and that was I know you guys were working on that for a long time, and
yeah,
and finally get to fruition is well done. I've seen it, and it looks really nice. So as I mentioned, the convention's coming up. We're basically a month away, right? We're going to San Diego this year, and so you're kind of in that limbo, that lame duck type position. But what do you see for the incoming president? What do you see maybe in the way of accomplishments, or maybe even challenges that he'll have to endure during the next year?
Well, I think probably one of the biggest things you have to figure out is how to manage your time. There's a lot of time involved that you don't realize, in so many different committees and so many different things, to manage. So you're trying to manage your own business as well as volunteering to be president. And I think it's important to figure out how to balance that time. When do you do things? It was funny. I was talking to our safety director, Stephen Bright, early, in my presidency, and he was saying how, he uses, Sundays, and weekends is IWCA time, full time. He tries to get as much as he can do during the weekend. So I guess, finding the time and the balance with your business, your personal life, and the time that it takes to be a good president.
Yeah, and that's really for all board members, right? I mean, each one of them are assigned tasks and things like that. And then as you get into the executive committee, it's the same, but you've got maybe even more on your plate. But most everybody I know is full-time in their business, right? They're not part-timers. And so you're full-time in your business and then having to try to carve out some trips during the year, all of these different things that you do as a board member and also an officer. So we really appreciate you doing that. I mean, all the board, but we appreciate the sacrifice that you guys make to try to keep everything going. And then oftentimes, to listen to all the critics as well after you have volunteered that, it can be a little discouraging at times. So, well, very good. What any highlights of the IWCA convention you want to bring out?
Well, one of the things that we're going to be doing this year in the convention is actually we're going to have a team medley challenge. So this is going to be new.
Okay.
It's going to be fresh. And basically, the concept is how will two guys, team up together and work together and attack the medley? Who will be the foreman, that will say they're done, who checks the work, and, will one wet, one squeegee. So it's kind of fresh because you figure the the speed in the Medley has been done the same way for many years. So there's kind of a science to it, and everybody kind of approaches it the same way. This will be pretty fresh to see, what works best. So, I anticipate different teams going at it a little bit differently until they, kind of figure out what works best.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. Let's switch back just a minute to your job there at Jenkintown, and because I know many people out there in the audience, they're going to wonder this. So you said at the beginning of this that, hey, in our highlight, in our busiest times, we have maybe 75, 80 guys on. The number one question is going to get asked: how do you find guys?
Well, we do a lot of different things. I mean, we put ads out in the newspapers and different social media. I think what works best for us is actually our employees bringing in employees, whether it's their friends or relatives or people that know jobs. We actually do a finder's fee. That if they bring an employee, that we pay them a certain amount, if he works out, and we'll do that in increments as well. So every month they're getting another bump. If that employee hangs on and still working with us. But it seems like we train all our guys in house from scratch, and we develop all our window cleaners. So it's kind of a Jenkintown culture. Everybody kind of works the same way. Cleans the same way, trained safety the same way. But I think what works best for us is actually word of mouth, and our employees bringing in their relatives and best friends and people they know that need jobs, besides putting it ads and out in social media.
And let's face it, I mean, like you said before, you create a culture that where they want to come in and play for you. Then it's a little easier to hire, isn't it? Because now the recruitment becomes easier, because like they'll recruit themselves. They'll be like, oh no, you want to come to work for these guys because they do this and they do that, and it's a winning combination.
I think too, also, once you build a pretty good brand name and you're out in the field, you get a lot of folks that will come up and ask questions about the job. And see your trucks everywhere, see your guys everywhere, and it looks exciting, and we'll get some people that way too.
Yeah, awesome. Well, you guys certainly run a great crew out there. Butch, I really appreciate you sitting down with us today, taking some time, telling us about Jenkintown, telling us about your tenure as the IWCA president. I'll see you in San Diego for sure, but thank you very much for coming on AWC TV today.
It's my pleasure, Mike. Thanks for having me.
All right, talk to you soon. Stay tuned for our next episode of AWC TV by following us on YouTube, Facebook, or our website, awcmag.com.